in the morning to try to practice discipline. Discipline is a really liberating thing. Discipline is enormously liberating. You know, I remember I had discipline to play the piano, to practice. I didn't want to, but I did because my father played and I wanted to be like him. I wanted to be able to play. But the fact that I practice every day for 45 minutes gives enormous freedom. I can play the piano, right? So it's the same thing if we get up in the morning, have a discipline, like the first thought, come home and smile and give thanks. Another day, another opportunity. Give thanks for another opportunity. Have that just be a practice. It's not like we have to rigidly enforce it, but just realize, just have our attention. Our attention, we can choose where we put our attention. This is very important to understand. I remember I learned to swim in Walden Pond, and Thoreau, he was one of the first mystics in North America, really, in the West. And he wrote that in Walden somewhere, that there's nothing more positive and liberating than knowing that a human being, as a human being, I can put my attention on something and control my mind. Now the mind, the Buddhists say the mind is the most terrible it can be your best friend or your worst enemy. And so to realize that where we put our mind is really our choice. I mean, we can stand at the gate, porter at the gate of our consciousness and decide what thoughts we're going to allow through, and our thoughts will determine our feelings, and our feelings will definitely determine our actions, and our actions will definitely determine our habits, and our habits will definitely determine our character, and our character will definitely determine our destiny, right? I mean, it comes back to our thoughts, how we're thinking. So to really start in the morning and just do the best we can to cultivate the thoughts that are in alignment with our purpose, what we feel our purpose is for this lifetime, and to have an attitude of I think really of thankfulness that we have another day. Never forget that there's going to be a time when we don't have another day. I mean, that's guaranteed. There's an old Zen saying, being born is like stepping out on the deck of a ship that is definitely going to sink. So it's definitely going to sink. So we should enjoy it while it lasts, right? And not just enjoy it, but don't fritter away the precious opportunity of this voyage, this vehicle that we have. Make sure we use the moments that we have as best we can for what our purpose is, to connect with our purpose. So in the morning, to just start on that positive note of awareness and gratitude for this day, and then have a practice. Maybe I think something personally, from what I find is good, is something like sitting. I always sit for an hour anyway, and in silence, and then also maybe yoga, tai chi, maybe some exercise, some running, take a walk in nature. Use the body in a way that you feel is helpful. Maybe do some something creative like journaling, some study, some reading that's uplifting or insightful or helps you. So to kind of create a good foundation for the day. There's lots of sub things under there we can do. Lots of many other little things, but that's kind of in broad strokes. I remember this guy years ago said, it was John Blofeld. Anyone heard of? You've probably heard of him, John Blofeld. Have you? No, I haven't. He was a Buddhist scholar, lived in Thailand, but he was a British, I guess, originally. And he gave a lecture with Evans Wentz. You've heard of Evans Wentz? Yeah, he was a Tibetan scholar. Anyway, he said, I remember it was at the Alan Watts Society way back in the 1970s. I was on the ship in Sausalito. I had just driven my Pinto all the way out from Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh my God!
And these two guys, they were like the greatest heroes in my life, in the world for me. They had translated these ancient Tibetan Buddhist teachings into English, and they lived in Tibet, and amazing stories they told about these Tibetan masters that they had studied with, and John Blofeld said that he was with a master who said, I can definitely teach you to make rain, anytime. And he said, really? And he was with this guy for quite a while, and he said he could do it. He said it'd be a totally blue sky, and he would do his practice, and absolutely guaranteed the clouds would come and it would start raining.
Wow.
He could do it. And he said, I can teach you. And he said, but he said, it'll definitely take, you'll have to be with me here for 3 years. and he decided he didn't want to spend 3 years to learn how to make it rain. But he did say that, I remember he said, every morning when I get up, I just have a bowel movement. And I thought, wow, how does he do that? And he said, I just do it. So I ever since then, I decided to do the same thing. I do it. Somehow, I just make it happen. You know? That's getting kind of personal. But anyway, I just eliminate in the morning, you know, just do it like the Tibetans do. You kind of do a like clockwise massage and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I do lots of little things to start the day off right. And I think, you know, connecting with nature, connecting with something creative, connecting with inner silence, you know, have a core that you always do no matter what. That you don't say, well, I don't have time for that today. Try to have something like Madeline and I always, you know, take time to connect with each other. And when we're home, we play the piano, and she plays the flute, and, you know, connect that way. But just to feed the most essential part, which is our mind, our spirit. And then from there, we'll get inspiration for what our advocacy should be. What I love about the vegan movement is it's so diverse. There's so many creative people doing 10 million different things, and it's fantastic. I mean, this movement is fantastic. It's crazy. It's wild. It's always changing. It's completely leaderless, and it's unstoppable. It's definitely, this world is going vegan. There's no question about it. It's out of the box. The genie's out of the bottle. The momentum is already, it's done. It's a done deal for sure. The question is if we'll have an Earth long enough for it to happen. What the massive inertia, I don't know. But the energy of this is already penetrated very deeply into the whole culture. So I think now the main thing is for us to raise our own awareness so that we're embodying this. Kind of like being the caterpillar. When the caterpillar becomes a butterfly, there's certain cells that do that first, the imaginal cells, you know. So it's important for us to really embody this, not just preach it, but to embody veganism. What is veganism? It's love and kindness and respect, listening, awareness, sensitivity. It's discipline, but it's a beautiful discipline. It's a discipline it's in alignment with our values. I mean, it's not really discipline, it's actually love and joy. It looks like discipline, I mean, but it's actually, we see it takes a lot of ignorance to do things that are going to harm ourselves and harm others. So it looks like discipline from the outside, but from the inside it's just being a human being and living our lives. All right, so I think I've said enough. I'd like to stop here and thank all of you so much for your efforts, and really appreciate the beautiful energy and the circle that we have here. And a big thank you to Lisa and to Ellen. Thank you so much, and to Alan, and to everyone. Thanks so much to Patricia, and thanks so much to Grace. They went through our training, the Local Staff Facilitator training. Patricia has all kinds of